Welcome back to the 12th man. Delighted to bring the Magic Man back on. A huge game for United tonight as they take on Villarreal as they look to win the Europa League for the second time in 4 years. Zach, we're also going to be talking about the final day of the Premier League season, a few dramatic results on there. And we're also going to look at Spurs' search for a new manager. So delighted to have you with us.
He's on 350 grand a week, and he's literally doing live streams on Twitter during a game like it's in person.
It's madness, like, so it's out there getting 350 grand a week, so not even
So only one quick start for me, and that like only the one Harley. My opinion is like the game of Premier League every
Well, Zach, the big day is here. Another chance to win your trophy. We're going to get on it just a bit. I'm going to start off talking about that with the weekend there. Some great games, some interesting results, and obviously going on it. All season, we sort of been saying that you didn't fancy Liverpool into the top four, and in the end, they pulled it out of the bag. Some people probably in disbelief at how they've done it. A lot did they obviously they finished the season strong, won in 8 games. But a 10 draw in the hour two. Leicester obviously stumbled towards the end. So, Zach, are you surprised in the end that Liverpool got on there? Or do you think the teams around them give them a massive helping hand?
Well, I think the teams around them are more to blame. But they done well. Like if they won 8 points, like that's good for any team. But Leicester, just Jesus, that was an absolute crumble. I don't know how that happened. Hey, to be honest, I didn't see it coming. I thought that this year they would have learned from last year. Oh, Jesus. No, I deserve it. But I wasn't too far off. Like I went on that final day, like, and it was a mad prediction to start the season.
Yeah. White Hart Payne here sent back up the 12th man for fellow Spurs fan. Conte is on his way, and we're going to get to that later on, Gary. There's a lot of rumours at the minute going around this morning that he could be on his way. We're going to get that in about 15 or 20 minutes' time. Just want to focus on the results at the weekend, and as you said, Zach, do you think that we'll get on to Liverpool, but just on Leicester, do you think that they're getting away with this a bit? 2 seasons in a row, they've been in a really strong position, and they threw it away. Really a poor run of form towards the end of the season. They've a lot of defeats at home against teams that were finished below them in the table. Do you think if this was any other team, they would be accused of being bottlers and they crumbled under pressure? But because it's Leicester, they're getting away with it?
It probably is because it's Leicester, they're getting away with it. At the end of the day, like at the start of the season, if you had told me Leicester were getting on the top 4, I probably would have totally no chance they won't be getting on the top 4. I probably would have took Spurs or Arsenal or something like that there, maybe getting them, because Arteta obviously won the FA Cup and all the year before, so I thought they were going to be good. And then after the first couple of games, they looked awful, and then Spurs in as well. I thought these would have done better under Mourinho, like so. I wouldn't have expected them to get on there at the start, like, but from the position they were on, they definitely threw it away, like they've crumbled, like.
Yeah. If you look at it right, even if you go back to the results on Sunday, Chelsea losing meant Leicester only had they won, and they ran the top four. Leicester went under it. They had lost all their momentum. They had, they went under the game. If Chelsea and Liverpool had won their games, there was nothing they could do. So they did need results to go their way, and that result came. Villa were beating Chelsea, and they were 2-1 up against Spurs with 15 minutes to go, and they completely folded in that last 15. Everyone would have looked at that and thought, what, Spurs just lost to Villa, not got much to play for. I know they obviously the Europa Conference League, but you look at that and you think, they've already beat Spurs earlier on the season at Spurs Stadium. It was a great opportunity if they had won the game to get into the top four. Do you think that they'll look back at our games, or do you think they'll be ruined them last 15 minutes? Do you think that's where they'll blame themselves, or do you think they'll look back at defeats elsewhere in the season?
They'll probably just look at the whole season altogether. Yeah, obviously during the match they're not going to know what way the Villa match is going. I think that was 0-0 at half time. Still, was it, or was Villa 1-0 up at half time?
See, to be fair, I think normally they wouldn't have knew, but the fans around the ground were cheering and stuff, so they obviously would have transpired to the players.
Oh, that's true too. I forgot the fans and all that. Well, that's it really, guy. But no, I was shocked myself, like, because either or, like, I would have been happy to see Chelsea not get it either, because I'm not really the biggest fan of Chelsea. Obviously, I prefer Liverpool not to get it, but Chelsea, I don't like Chelsea at all. Like, so I would have been glad to see Edmonds get put out. They got very lucky. That season could have went an absolute disaster for Tuchel, especially if they're beating Saturday now as well.
Yeah, they lost two of their last 3 games. Chelsea and against Arsenal and against Villa, and somehow Leicester have let them off the hook, and our team Leicester have let off the hook is Liverpool. Now, we have to say they've won 8 of their last 10 games and drew the R2. Finished strong, but they were miles behind. And as you said, despite that great run of form, they did they needed teams elsewhere. They do them favours over the last few weeks, and that happened. So if Liverpool got off the hook here big time,
I nearly blame United a wee bit for that as well, like, because we were awful against Liverpool. Like, I was absolutely fuming here about that, because I think we had the chance really to sort of put. I think if we had beat them, it would have ruined their momentum. Like, and I don't think they would have. I don't even think they would have beat West Brom and all. I think United completely blew out there. I think it was our chance to completely just say to them, "You're going under your bully," because if we had beat them, I think it was Leicester would have had to lose like every game to end the season, like, or something like that. There, I blame United for that. Like,
Becky's saying that Liverpool have looked a formidable force of old in the last 10 games. Would you agree with that? Do you think that they're putting down a marker for next season now?
No, they're not putting no marker down for next season. Boys are getting carried away. They're not putting no marker down. I don't know. Are they going to spend money? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think so. I think
the word is that they're going to sign Konate from Leipzig. That looks pretty much a deal. But when Adam's going to pick some replacement, it looks like he's going to Barcelona. Is that an area that Liverpool need to strengthen midfield?
I think they've always needed strength in midfield, like, because this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't rate Henderson.
Becky said he needs to start being honest here, Zach.
I don't know. We'll have to see now next season, but I definitely I don't. If they don't spend money this season, like even like Mane and Firmino and Salah, I know Salah still got like 19 odd goals, but he still hasn't looked the same than what he did the previous seasons. I know he got loads of goals, but I still don't think he looked well. I think he looked well off the mark, to be honest.
He's not happy this morning. Do you think that midfield area then, that's something that if you obviously said you don't rate Henderson when Adam's leaving, Keita's injury prone, so do you think that's a problem area for them?
I do. I think it is a problem. What I say, he's the most biased person ever. I'm the most biased person ever. He's a madman, so is he?
Callum saying the Salah's got 37 goal contributions, but doesn't look the same.
It doesn't, but he doesn't look. He doesn't look the same. Like, I don't know. Like, he looked a lot better the last couple of seasons, and this is just.
You're on the Liverpool fans ahead of this final tonight. But geez, I hope United won this final. If you're sick, you're going to get stuck.
But you see, Jerry, I'd be on here if Liverpool didn't get top four, saying I told you so. Like, it's fine margins, as people would say.
Yeah. Do you think that Liverpool fans and obviously, do you think they've been incredibly lucky, and you've been incredibly unlucky with your prediction?
Well, like 1 in 8 games, not points. Like I suppose ain't luck. Like, but at the end of the day, too, like that is, I wouldn't say luck, but fuck me, like Leicester couldn't get any worse. So let's worry about Big Sauce and Fred. Jesus.
Do you think McTominay would get into the Liverpool midfield?
McTominay? No, I don't like McTominay in our team at all. I would rather have Pogba. I'd rather have Pogba and Matic playing there. Like Matic, like he doesn't have a legs anymore, but I'd rather have Pogba and Matic there, and then just let the front four in: Greenwood, Rashford, Fernandes, and Cavani. That's the way I would go. But Solskjaer is a wee bit pragmatic at the minute, and it's probably because he doesn't have a good CDM. That's why he has to play Fred McTominay, because Pogba's not. He's not reliable. He's not reliable.
What do you think in terms of? So obviously Liverpool getting into the top four now. Do you think they will strengthen? Do you think they'll go back in the summer? And obviously with Van Dijk coming back, they could be stronger next year.
But everybody's talking about this Van Dijk coming back. Like, what's he going to do? Like, like he was playing against Villa, buying 7-2 or something like that there, and plus, it's just like, is he going to be the same player now? This injury, but I think they're hyping this return up of Van Dijk too much. Like, I don't think he's going to be the same player. But I suppose I can't like see that already, because obviously I haven't seen him play. And Deggy's saying there, Matic must be 40 while he's upset. I'm not saying Matic is good, but I'm saying I'd rather have Matic than McTominay for it, because he knows how to pass a ball forward from my back.
So getting back to the results, Chelsea obviously losing, finishing the season where they obviously having their sort of stumble under Tuchel, and they've got that final next week. That's gonna be important for them. So Leicester must out. And there's been talk since that, do you think Rodgers is going to stay there? Do you think he'll have another go at? Leicester, obviously, they might not get another chance to finish top four. Do you think that one in that FA Cup is as good as it's going to get for Leicester and Rodgers at the moment?
Where else would he go, Gary? Is the question I would ask.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Do you think that if Spurs come on for me, would be tempted, or do you think he'd be happy enough to stay at Leicester?
Spurs, and is there much difference here between Spurs and Leicester? Not trying to be like funny, but is there much difference?
I do think
Leicester recruitment's better and all that.
Yeah, I do think though that there's a bit more potential. I think I know he has to have to build, but I do think that there's the stadium, the bigger fan base.
I know definitely, yeah.
Bigger draw there, but it's and money as well. I do think Spurs would give him more money, as Deggy's saying here. But whether or not it would be tempted to leave now, I'm not so sure. We're going to come on to Spurs manager soon, but I do think that Rodgers will be one that Spurs is definitely looking at. And obviously the other thing that was decided on the last day of the season was West Ham needed a point to get top 6 in the Europa League, and they got it, and they won 3-0 against Southampton. And then it looked like it was going to be between Spurs, Arsenal, and Everton for the Europa Conference League. Everton were obviously well beat, and we were 2-0 down after the first 10 minutes and basically ruled them out of it. So it was down to Spurs and Arsenal. And at half time, Spurs were drawn, Arsenal were drawn. So again, Spurs were going to stay there. But it changed very suddenly. Leicester went 2-1 up, and Arsenal went 2-0 up. And for a long time, it looked like Arsenal were going to finish above Spurs. I was actually watching about AFTV live stream, and they'd actually turned the Arsenal game off. They watched the Spurs game. So after the game, they were saying they weren't too worried about it. But if you look at during the game, they were very worried about it. And when Bale did score that winner, they were very unhappy. So Zach, would you just summarize that for me? Do you think Arsenal fans secretly will be absolutely raging that Spurs got that late goal to finish above them?
I will, like, in that regards, I have bragging rights, but if I was Arsenal, I would be sitting going, thank God that we don't have to play in that there, because that is absolutely embarrassing. Like, if United were not there, I don't even know if I could bring myself around to watch it, hey, because it's just an absolute joke. Like, if there's
there is, I have looked at the pros and cons to this, right? There's a big con with not being in Europe, and that is that you can't gain any qualification points. You can't rank up. So Arsenal can't basically get any points next season, whereas Spurs won't be getting loads of points, but if you win games, you can still get points. And with this new wildcard system coming in 2024, it's going to allow teams that don't finish in the top 4 to get in. 2 teams across Europe, one of them likely to be English. And if Spurs really do well in this and maybe do well in the Europa League if they were going to do it next year, they would put themselves in a position where they could gain points. If you're not in Europe, there's no real plus, or then it gives you more of a chance to focus on the league. But do you think Arsenal can use that their advantage? Are Arsenal going to be a top 4 team next year? Because if they're not going to be a top 4 team, they're better off being in this competition.
I was I didn't know that just that until you told me or now, but Arsenal.
Don't get me wrong. Hey, I'm not glorifying this competition. It's very weak. There's not going to be. I'm not going to be looking forward to the games. But if you're trying to look at any positive, you can still gain. I think you can gain up to 30 or 40 million if you win it. Now it's not a lot of money, but it's better than nothing. Again, and Arsenal aren't renowned for spending loads and loads of money.
No,
and they do often have they rely on the money coming in. They spend. The owners don't put money in their own pocket on. So again, I'm looking at it and thinking, I think you're better off being on it than not being on it, and that's just my opinion. But again, it's not me trying to glorify it, because it is a very weak competition and it's very uninspiring. But there's still a chance to gain some the coefficient points, as they say. So I don't know what you think.
Arsenal's one of them teams too, Gary. When the pressure's off, they're a good side. They play well, but they left it too late as well. Like, even if you look, like I was looking at it even the other day, like if you look from second right down to 7th, like there's not that big a gap, no points wise in the league.
Yeah, I think there's 6 points between Arsenal and 4th, or Liverpool or Chelsea.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, so, like you look at the start Arsenal had this season too as well. So
Arsenal won their last 5 games and finished like a train. Deggy's saying here, Spurs getting into the Champions League on brownie points. Hey, see, to be honest, Deggy, if you hadn't finished in the top 4 this year, you would have qualified for the Champions League based on this new format in 2024. Liverpool, and I think Dortmund would have been the other one, but Dortmund obviously got in on the last day of the season as well. But when I was looking at it at Easter time, when the whole qualification thing was announced, Liverpool or Chelsea would have got in, along with Dortmund, if they didn't finish in the top 4. So again, it's not quite like a Super League, but it's going to raise concerns like that you could still finish 5th or 6th and sneak in, well, based on your coefficient points. So do you think that this new Champions League format's going to be criticised?
I don't know, but as mad as it sounds, like there is teams that be in the Premier League, like, and you go like you probably could just fire them in the Champions League. Like, there's no like.
It's to make sure that all the bigger teams, even if they have a poor season, get in. That's basically what it is. UEFA want the best teams playing each other.
That's what I'm saying. Like there is about 6, 7, like half decent teams. Like, and I can see West Ham strengthening. I can see Spurs and Arsenal obviously coming back better. We're definitely going to strengthen, because I don't know what way the night's going to go, but if I think we will strengthen next season, like, because I don't think a board's going to want to be any further away from Man City, like, and they seem to be out league ahead at the moment.
Yeah, this is an R plus as well. Rory's made a great point. It would be a good experience for some of the academy players. I agree. The Conference League, as he says, I think it's a good chance for some of the youngsters to get some game time in Europe. And again, hey, I'm not going to be. Hey, I'm a fan. I'm going to watch the games, but I'm not going to be. Even the Europa League group games, I couldn't get motivated for. I watched them, but it was a poor standard, and this is going to be even worse. But hey, at the end of the day, you end up you deserve to be where you finish, and at the end of the day, we're on this, and we have to accept that that's where we are for the season. Arsenal fans, some were saying they don't want to be in it. Some were saying they want to finish above Spurs. Personally, I don't think Arsenal fans can slag Spurs, because they weren't even good enough to qualify for it. So I don't really see how they can say anything. All our teams like United, Liverpool can banter us. Fair enough. Gary's saying here it's probably still bigger than the Carabao Cup if you want it. He's possibly right. It'll still be down as a European trophy. So it'll be interesting. But I do think it's for someone for a team like Spurs, the amount who have been starved of trophies, it's a fantastic opportunity. And just to add to the drama, Roma's going to be in it next season, and of course that could possibly mean coming up against Jose Mourinho. So, Zach, would you expect Roma to be Spurs' biggest challengers for this competition?
And then who finished 7th in the La Liga?
I think if Villarreal get beat tonight, they'll be in it. But if they won it, then the Champions League.
Nah.
So Villarreal, and I think the German team is Union Berlin.
No, I would say, well, Villarreal's no mugs, like, to be honest. Like, I think their league position ain't telling the story, to be honest. Like, but Emery's record. We're going to come on to that in a minute. United won't get a sniff at Liverpool or City next year. Enjoy that finish, Zach. It'll be your best for another 4 years. Do you worry about that, Zach?
that
No.
City could get stronger, Liverpool could get stronger, Chelsea look like they're going to be stronger, that United might be in a top 4
You know,
battle
it's
next year
just,
to strengthen.
the only reason towards the end of the season we didn't look at the team we looked was because, like, I'm not trying to make excuses, but at their matches, well congested and was an absolute disaster. And even that 4-2 match against Liverpool too, I wouldn't say Liverpool dominated us. I would say it was more down to United, just weren't at their races. I'm not worried about Liverpool, Man City. I'm not worried about Liverpool even catching up to Man City. I think Liverpool's just on the same level as us. Like, people probably think I'm mad, like, but I'm not worried about United not being up there next year again, because I can see at least 2 or 3 players coming in, and I'm normally not confident, but I've seen a thing too where your man's meant to be meeting up with a fan for him, like they see a way forward. I think they will want to make it right this summer, definitely. We can get us
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, Gary's saying here Arsenal's racing, they finished below us, AFTV Comedy Gold, and they were very unhappy. They weren't happy they finished below Spurs. Deggy, thanks for making excuses, Zach. But do you know what? Do you know when I look at United? I do sort of think they're a bit light in midfield, because Bruno, you can definitely see he was overused this season. You know, he looks knackered. He's a great player, but you know, there's been Ollie doesn't really fancy Van de Beek. You know, he hasn't played him a lot. Do you think that's an area that they need to? You know, if they're going to go far in the Champions League next year, if they're going to be pushing for the league, Bruno needs to be better. You know, they need to make sure he isn't overused as much, and they need to be able to, you know, win games without him. Do you think that's an area that they'll definitely be looking at in the summer to improve?
We have some talent coming through too, Gary. Like Greenwood, Alanga, your man, Ahmad Diallo looks just like he's ready. I think he's brilliant on the ball. Who else do we have too as well? Van der Beek, I think he will have a role to play next season, because even against Wolves the other day, I watched the first 60 minutes of it, because I was meeting people in town then, so I only got the first 60 minutes of it. And he looked like, that's what I'm saying, Van der Beek and Matic looked far better. And I know it was against Wolves, but they look far better in the midfield too. Just not being able to pass a ball forward. Like, I think Van der Beek will have a part to play next season. I think we're gonna get like Alexia Declan Rice, or hopefully I would.
Rory's saying here, would you take Ndidi? He thinks he'd be a great shout.
I would personally. I'd rather have Bissouma or Declan Rice, but I wouldn't complain with Ndidi either. But
you know, I think every top club needs to belong to Tielemans. I think Tielemans is a real top player, and I know United were looking at him before he went to Leicester, and I think it was a big mistake not to get him.
Could he do that role in his own book, the CDM? Like?
I just think he's an all-round box-to-box midfielder. Now, you probably need somebody else in there as well, but I just think if you already have a midfield 3 of Bruno, Tielemans, and possibly a Declan Rice, you're really, really strong, or Ndidi. Gary's asking you here, what do you think? Who's had a better season, Bruno or Cavani, for you?
Oh, Bruno's been our best player. It's been a long stretch of his. But
I think he just means, I don't think he's trying to clear the team, but Cavani's probably had a bigger impact than more people thought he would. And he's almost been like an unsung hero.
I thought Cavani's been brilliant this season. I think I don't think he looks 34. Like, I know he's not just scoring goals. Like, he presses well from a front. No, I think he's brilliant. That's why I wouldn't go out and waste too much money on a fucking. Sorry for language. I wouldn't want to go and waste too much money on Harry Kane or something like that. There, I'm going
to come on that and ask you a couple of questions on that in a minute. Just before we go on that, Callum's just saying here. So Zach thinks United are up against City and Chelsea, squad depth, and a full strength Liverpool next year, despite us finishing 5 points behind them with no centre backs.
You see, but there's like they're just playing that excuse all season. Like the last couple of games or the last couple of weeks, we were missing Maguire. Like, and as people like when I point out how bad Maguire is, like we showed that we massively missed him in the last couple of games of the season. So I'm not buying that there. Like,
but I have to say on this, right, that I have criticised Liverpool times this season, but the fact remains as they did only finish 5 points behind second place, and they were struggling all season with injuries. You know, there's no doubt Van Dijk was out, Gomez was out. They've had to change that centre back pairing a lot. They finished very well, and United, to be fair, United finished. But
the games that they were big, Gary. But the games that they were big, like you look at like Burnley 1-0. Fulham beat them 1-0. It wasn't nothing to do with the defence being poor. It was to do with the fact that they couldn't score going forward.
Yeah,
I think
I just do think the Liverpool fans will look at that and think they're not that far behind now. You know, if they can get Van Dijk fit again, and they recruit a couple of players, you know, they'll have every confidence they can be up there again next year. Do you know what I mean?
Why would I that's right for Liverpool to have confidence in Evans going forward, but why would I not have confidence that United's not going to be up there next year? Like, what have we done wrong? Like, I can understand why we only finished 5 points ahead of Liverpool, but the last couple of weeks of season, United are just we stumped. Like, I'm glad we had that.
To be fair, Zach, what I will say on United is they had nothing to play for. The second place was wrapped up, and there's not much motivation. They're all focused on the final. They've just seen Maguire get injured, and they probably don't want to get injured themselves. So it is hard. It is hard to measure. But I just want to look at Liverpool. I think the way they finish the season, their fans will be very confident they can challenge next year again. Gary's saying Cavani looks about 27 to him, top player. Zach, obviously the game for Spurs. Bale come off the bench and changed the game. You know, he scored 16 goals and 3 assists in all competitions. 11 of them were in the league. He only played 20 games, and some of them were as a sub. So 11 goals in 20 Premier League games. You know, and a lot of people were saying he's finished. It clearly doesn't look that way, but there's rumours that he's hanging up the boots at the end of the after the Euros. That he may he wants to play a bit of golf. He wants to retire. Do you think it's criminal that a player to come is thinking about retirement? And you know, Spurs should be doing everything they can to get him signed up for another season.
What age is he now, Gary? What age is he?
31. He's only 31.
He's only 31. I don't know. You see, the thing about Bale is, I think his biggest accent was always his pace, and he's obviously lost a yard of pace.
Definitely lost a yard, but his finishing is incredible. I mean, that man gets a chance of scoring. You know.
But is that who you want? Like, would you rather spend all that money on wages?
No, it would possibly be an hour loan deal, but I think he's the highest paid player at Spurs because Madrid's paying the other half of his. I think their Spurs are paying about 250 grand, and Madrid's paying about 350. But Madrid have made it very clear they want him back. So I think if you can get him signed up in another year, and hopefully get him to reduce them wages, it's definitely big. I mean, hey, he's a great impact player off the bench. He can come on, he can score goals. I mean, he scored 16 goals this season without really being anywhere near his best. You know, if you can get him even on the possibly on our level, you've got a top player.
He's a wonder left foot. Like, he's always a threat. Like, no, I rip Bale, like, but I just like if Spurs are rebuilding, I think you're better going down another avenue. And I think we have a player like Bale in the team too. It always causes. He's always making the headlines for different reasons. No, about like as you say, playing golf and he's on that much money a week, and then the other players might get upset and all because like Harry Kane and Son, all like he's on more than Son, like, and that's just like he's probably thinking.
The problem I would have if he is more interested in playing golf, then how committed is he going to be? You know, and that's the thing. And the other big story around Spurs, player wise, is Harry Kane. You obviously said that you wouldn't be a fan of United spending all that money when they've got a Cavani there, Greenwood coming through, Martial still there. You know, do United need a Harry Kane? Do you think, or do you think
I think a media completely like blow what United centre forward is out of the water. Like, to be honest, Martial obviously has been out for a while this season in the red card at the start of the season. The season before that, he had a brilliant season, 25 goals. Cavani's been brilliant this season. He can't play every game, but he'll still give you. I think he'll still give us another 25 matches next season, 30. I wouldn't, especially when we can't play a midfield because we have to play Fred McTominay. It's two people doing one job, so we need a CDM. I think we need another centre half as well because obviously, if anything does happen, Maguire, you see what's happened there. Like, we're not going to be the same team with Maguire. I like Twan Sebe, but we still need another. We need a centre half. We need a centre defensive man. We need maybe another right back just to challenge Wan-Bissaka. I think because I'm not too sure. No, like Wan-Bissaka's brilliant defending, but if anything happens, Bryan Williams doesn't look good enough to step up.
Yeah. Before I come on to talk about tonight's game and United, just want to touch on this manager search for Spurs. I mean, it seems like there's new names coming every day. You know, over the weekend it was a lot of people were talking about Rodgers, Ten Hag, Potter. Yesterday it broke Pochettino as a possible target. You know, he's maybe not happy in Paris, and you know, Spurs obviously think that they could possibly get him back. You know, it's just rumors at the moment. You know, then there was the Martinez rumor. Sky Sports it up, but a couple of Spurs respected journalists have said that's not going to happen. Martinez was it was someone they looked at, but there was no follow up talks. And today there's a media frenzy in Italy. The Conte is leaving Inter Milan and possibly going to Spurs. So, firstly, if Spurs could get Conte, Zach, would that be a huge appointment for them? Do you think that that's the type of name Spurs fans would want to see? A proven winner in different leagues. You know, and he's won the Premier League with Chelsea in his first season. So, you think Spurs fans would get behind that and really be excited?
I think, well, as you say, guys, a prime winner anywhere he goes. Now, it's just you're going to have to be able to stick the football. That's the only thing.
But as he is defensive as a Mourinho or a Simeone, I think he does play a bit cautious, but I don't think he's as bad as that, is he?
No, well, like even under Chelsea, no, they still scored loads of goals. Actually, no, actually, the season in Chelsea, there was a lot of 1-0s.
The season they won the league, they finished with Spurs finished second that season with 86 points, which would have been enough if they won it this year. I think Chelsea might have finished with 93 or 94 points, so they were very, very good that season.
But I'm saying, like, was it all 1-0s? Like,
there was a lot of 1-0 ones in there, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But hey,
at the end of the day, guy, like, as much as I want to see free flowing attacking football, if I was a Spurs fan and Antonio Conte came in and won the league, won in every game 1-0, you wouldn't be care, because at the end of the day, it's a results-based business. I would take Antonio Conte, but it's just the Spurs have a players for him to play the way he wants to play, because your defense is shocking.
Zach, see at the minute, it don't matter what manager comes in if you don't back him. He needs to be backed. He has players, has style. Gary's saying here, I love Bale. I said all season, I 75% thought Bale is 100% a Lamella, or you know what he means. The players Spurs have in their squad, even a 75% Bale is better than them. You won't lose, and he's right, you don't lose that world class ability. You've seen some of his finishing, that's quality. Even if he has lost the yard of piss, you have one more year, but do no harm. And he thinks United come on 3-0 tonight, then we'll come on United in a minute. But personally, I've seen some names get linked with a job, and I thought, uninspiring. Martinez, I said, what, if it's Martinez, I'm giving up. I don't want him. I would be prepared to take a chance on a Graham Potter based on his style of play, but I was seeing names like Scott Parker, who I don't really fancy. The Tan Hague, whilst I feel that he does play good football, I think it's a big gamble based on that. Ajax is a completely different setup to every other team. Rodgers, again, a name that probably everyone would look at, but again, I just don't know with Rodgers. I just don't know if he'll be able to make that step up. But when I seen Conte's name, honestly, I got goosebumps, because everywhere he's been, it's been a success. He was brilliant with the international team. He was brilliant at Juventus, brilliant at Inter Milan, brilliant at Chelsea. People forget, Juventus were dominant in Serie A, and he went there and Inter Milan and won it. I think this could be, if this would be as bad, with managers out there that are available or who Spurs could get, I don't think they could get any better than Conte. I think this would be a really, really great appointment. And Spurs have got to be over this. It looks like Conte's definitely leaving Inter Milan, so he's going to be going somewhere. It's just if it's a coincidence. We seen last week with Nuno, and our name was linked when he was leaving Wolves, but again, I didn't want him, and everyone was speculating it could be him. He was odds on at one stage, and then obviously it was out there. It was just coincidence he was leaving. So again, this could be another coincidence, but there does be strong reports ultimately that he could be the man. So if it is him, I'm sure a lot of Spurs fans will get behind that. And Zach, do you think if it is him and Spurs back him, they could do things under Conte?
But as you say, Gary, I think the first conversation him and Levy will be having is that he give me money. I'm going to need money.
I don't think Conte can come without being backed. I don't think he would pick the job unless he was getting assurances.
I think that's what I was going to say. I think he still have a good spine. I think Spurs have a good spine of players. Here four, these could definitely chance for the top four in the first season. Because I think if Conte came in, well, I don't what ways it work on McCain, I don't know. I think he'd want to come in with a reassurance to Kane.
I think Levy knows he needs a big name to try and convince Kane to stay. Conte coming in, and if he's getting backed, Kane might be. You've seen that with Gary Neville. He never actually said he wanted to leave. He said he had to have a conversation with the chairman, and if things weren't going the way he wanted to go, then yes, he maybe looked to move on.
Who do you say?
I think Kane can make a chance to stay if the right manager comes in and he's backed properly.
Well, the right man, it's all right getting the right manager in, but what players are going to want to come and play for Spurs, like in that Conference League, like?
Yeah, and that's why they might need a big name to try and attract these type of players.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only thing about them. But every time United were in the Europa League, that's the only time we get backed. When if we don't finish in the top four, like the years that we haven't finished in the top four, we have went out and spent our money, and we always spent an absolute fortune.
All I can say on it, Zach, is that a very respected Spurs source has said that this is a few days ago. I think it was after the game on Sunday. The Spurs have identified their top target for the manager, and they're going to do it's going to be all playing out over the next week to 10 days.
Is there any truth in Martial going to these guys?
I just don't see it. I think he doesn't
No.
suit the Premier League. I just think he's too hit and miss, and not what Spurs need. I think United will have a hard time shifting him unless it's back to France or something like that. I just don't know. But here, let's come on the United, Zach. Huge game tonight, obviously for a number of reasons. Going to start off with the most obvious one, and that's obviously they relieve a bit of pressure on Ollie. A lot of people saying, despite finishing second, it's not good enough for United. They need to win a trophy. They've got a great opportunity tonight. They're huge favourites for this game, albeit up against a very experienced Villarreal team who have a manager that knows how to win this competition. So, Zach, is this as easy as people are making it out? A lot of Liverpool fans and our fans are saying, United, this game's over before it starts. How do you look at this? Do you think this is a very difficult game?
No, and I'm not just trying to put the cry on before the match, because, like, as I say, like, I never hide like away even if we were put tonight. But I think it's a really tricky game. Villarreal won't hammer us. Like, I know there's 100% not going to happen. They're not going to go and put 3 or 4 passes. Like, Jesus, I hope so anyway. But I think I don't know. My nerves were wrecked a wee bit. No way. We've just stumbled towards the end of the season. I was like, if we won this final, like I say, like Villarreal's no mugs. But then, the more I thought about it, then the closer and closer I'm getting the match. Now I can't see United just. I think we have too much quality up
Actually, to be honest, before we talk about
the pitch again.
How big of a worry is it that Maguire's not going to be fit? Does that worry you that the defence won't be as strong?
See, that's what I mean. I'm all in, but I just don't know whether he could really complicate it and go 5 at the back. And if he does that there, I'll be raging. I could see him going 5 at the back, because I don't know if he's going to trust by Tuan-Sebe and Lindelof. I think he's going to go with 2 of them, and I think he could even play Shaw and Telles. Let's play Shaw as the left side of centre half.
He might revert to a negative style of football.
Because I think he's going to want to keep the game tight, and then you're allowed 5 subs in that. I know you're going
to goes the extra time.
What?
You'll be allowed an extra sub if it goes the extra time as well.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, I genuinely don't think it. I could probably name you the team here, start to finish, but if a wee doubt in my head that they could go to a 5 at the back, which I would be absolutely disgusted if they done that there. No harm.
See if he's really losing it. Do you think that piles pressure on Ollie? Not that he'll be sacked, but it puts him under severe pressure going the next season.
It'll put him under pressure going in the next season, because unless he doesn't start off with like a 4-5-1 streak, the fan base will turn, because at the minute I'd say it's a 60-40 at the minute, and I think it could flip very easily the other side.
Yeah, Danny's a very very passionate United fan, but he's made it clear before he doesn't like Ollie. He said, "Get ready for an Ollie disaster class. 5 at the back and a system that plays in the Villarreal hands." He thinks the same as you. He might revert to a 5 at the back. Do you think he just has to show a bit of strength here and a bit of belief in what's been working well for him, despite a player like Maguire missing, that he shouldn't revert from a style of play and a system that's worked for the majority of the season?
Because that's what you see, that's the reason I don't think he'll do too, because he tried to be too smart against RP Leipzig at the season. And we had needed going on that match was a draw, and he went with that 5 at the back, and we were 3-0 down within about 50 minutes, and then he changed it back to 4, and we scored 2 late on then. But it all goes, for me, it's all about who plays in the midfield. But I can name you a team. I can name you. I honestly, God, I would be nearly 100.
Give us a stab. Give us a stab at it.
It'll be De Gea nets. It'll be Wan-Bissaka right back, left back with Shaw. 2 centre halves. It'll be I think it's going to be Lindelof, and I'm not too sure, guy, about the other one. It's definitely going to be Lindelof. The 2 CDMs is going to be McFred. It's going to be Fernandez, Pogba out left. He'll put Rashford out the right, and they'll play Cavani up top. For which me ain't right, because Greenwood's had a blinder coming on the end of the season as well.
So sorry, I said again. You think Bruno will play in the middle, Rashford right, Pogba left?
Definitely. I just can't, unless he shocks me and takes Fred or McTominay out, which I think he should do, but I don't think he's going to do that. And then you're not going to drop Rashford, because he's always a threat.
Yeah.
And then he's going to shoehorn Pogba on that left-hand side, which I like Pogba on the left-hand side, but I just think you're taking away one of your more attacking players. And
what do you stand with Pogba? He's got a year left in his contract. Would you sign him up again, or would you? Well, I mean, if he doesn't sign, he's going to be let go this summer, because you're not going to let him go for free next year. So would you be trying to get him signed up, or would you try and cash in now?
It all depends what way he's. I think it all depends what way United's going to work in the transfer window. I think if we were to sign a really good CDM, and then you could play him with a free in the midfield, you could play Pogba, just say it was Declan Rice, Pogba, Declan Rice and Fernandes. I think that'd be good enough to win the Premier League.
You know the worry about Pogba? He's been there a long time. He's never established himself as a midfielder. He's been, as you say, he's been shoehorned on that left-hand side. And that just makes me think that for all the talent he's got, United need better. United need a more consistent player that they can rely on. And I think he's made it clear before he was looking to leave as well. If he doesn't want to sign up, I think United need to cash in, get 30 or 40 million if they can, and move him on.
I love Basuma. Oh my God, he'd be my dream.
Basuma's going to be looked at. I know you've heard a friend of mine, Liverpool are very much the favourites to get him. So that could be interesting if he's really going there and try and rival him. But Liverpool are very interested in him. And he's one of their top targets. Obviously, to replace Wijnaldum, so that'll be interesting. So, like you say, you sort of named the team. How do you think it's going to go tonight? Personally, I think it's going to be a very tight game. I do fancy United, but I think it's going to be a nervy one. I don't see any team in the this. Emery as well. He can be very much. One week he can be all out attack, and other weeks he can be defensive. I think he'll look at the players available in both teams, and he'll be letting United have the ball, try and sit back and counter-attack. So I can see a very cautious game. Villarreal obviously are in a position as well where it's nervy for them because, for them to get into the Champions League, they have to win this game. So obviously they've got that extra pressure on. Obviously United are already qualified. So it means a lot more to Villarreal, but obviously as well, Ollie will have them players pumped up. They want a trophy, and obviously he needs a trophy as well. So it makes it for a very cautious, very nervy night. And I can see it being that, and it coming down to maybe 1 or 2 moments. So how do you see it going?
Do you want it like a score prediction?
How do you agree with that? Do you think it's going to be close? Do you think it's going to be nervy?
I do. As mad as it sounds, I would nearly rather Villarreal scored in the first 5 minutes. Because that's one of the way it seems they wake United up. Because see if we keep it tight, they about the 60 seconds.
You think back to the Sevilla game last year, United went up 1-0 and fell apart. So, they're almost better when they come from behind.
They are, and the thing about that Seville match too, but is we absolutely battered Seville. We've actually looked very well against the Spanish teams in the last couple of seasons. I thought we battered Seville last year. I don't know if you remember the match, but we fought with a far better side. And then this season we've played Sociedad and we hammered them. We beat Granada. I think at the minute anyway, Solskjaer sort of has their numbers at the minute. The Spanish.
Be worried that Unai Emery knows how to win this in Solskjaer. It's his first final. It's going to be, he might be the one that overthinks it. He might be the one that overcomplicates it. Whereas Emery's been here before, knows how to win. This is his 5th European Europa League final. He's won 3 out of 4. He knows what they do. He knows how to get a Spanish team over the line. We've seen they were second favourites against Liverpool when he was at Sevilla. Everyone gave Sevilla no chance that night. Liverpool went up 1-0. Sevilla turned it round and won. So again, this is a man that knows how to win, and this could be the difference maker. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Calvin saying 1-0 for Real. But you
I can't see United not scoring here tonight. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, nerves actually are a wee bit right for it. To be honest, it's sore here because
it's a cup final.
I just really want that Solskjaer to get a trophy here because I just want all that because it'll take away from the seat. Like I know second place.
I think to be fair to him, all he deserves
73 points. But I think that it does this season, and I've been fucking tears, and I think we don't want that there. I swear. I know it's
the Pochettino and Spurs thing. Well, they were doing well in the league, but just couldn't win a trophy. And this is the same thing. If they were to lose tonight, it's another season with a trophy, and another per start this season next year, and it'll be curtains for Ollie. So he needs this trophy. This will give him a bit of credit in the bank. However, I do think he'll get it, but he may have to sweat a bit for it. Score prediction, Zach. I'm going to go 2-1 United. That's how I see it going. Very nervy game, but I fancy United to get over the line.
I'll go.
We'll watch as well. Feel free to type on a score prediction.
I think it is going to be a well tight game. I'm going to go for because I have no luck, and I think it's going to make me really really sweat. I think it's going to be United winning penalties.
United won on penalties. I think
I swear to God, because
the game. Do you know what, Zach? For all Bruno's done all season, this is a game where United need him to step up. You're always relying on your big players. They pull it out of the bag in the big games. I know. He's finished second, and it means qualifying for the Champions League. But Bruno was a bad game tonight. That's almost like all his work this season's undone. This is the game he's going to be judged on. He needs to turn up. Rashford the same. He needs to turn up. You need them two. If them two turn up and play, I don't see any problems for United tonight.
That's why I'm sitting thinking too. Like at the end of the day, too. Like as much as I think it's going to be a tight game, like, and I'm just giving that prediction because like I have a feeling I'm going to be made with for the full match. But in another way, I do see United. I can't see United blowing them clean away. Like I can't see that happen as well. Like
if they won, Zach, do you think that sets them up nicely for next season? That they'll believe they can go and challenge and win the league next year.
But if we won, but that's the thing about the Rangers. You just don't know. If we won that there tonight, they might be thinking, "Oh no, that's a good side there. There's good enough there to do this and do that." But for me, if we won that tonight, that just shows a couple of extra points, like, and then get behind the team, and you never know where we could be next season. Because I do think Solskjaer's building something. He's about 2 or 3 players off a really good starting 11.
James is saying it with you strong. Look, I'm going to do a podcast next week. We team of the season, manager of the season. But since you're on, Zach, I know the season isn't officially over. But who was your manager of the season be in the Premier League? Who would your player of the season be? Who do you think would deserve that? So manager. I know it's difficult because if Man City would have won the Champions League next week, it would be hard to look away from Pep.
But then at the end of the day, he's an unlimited budget. But no, Guardiola probably has the best manager season in the Premier League. But I would give it to David Moyes. Like
David Moyes. Player of the season for you?
Harry Kane. All day long. Harry Kane.
Well, I agree. I actually would, and this isn't biased. I do think Kane deserves player of the season. He's top goal scorer, top assists. He's played on a team that hasn't really played these strengths as well. He's had his Spurs have been defensive most of the season. I think he outperformed his XG. It was his best goal to game ratio and stuff. So no, definitely him. I think Diaz he's won most of the awards. I think a worthy contender. He's done really well at Man City, but for me, Kane's had a harder job and deserves it. Manager of the season, great mention, Moyes. Pep next week as well. If they won that Champions League, it's 3 trophies this season. Hard to look away from that as well. But I'm going to give it to Bielsa. I think Leeds, he's took a lot of criticism at times this year for the way they played. He's never changed really until the end. He's maybe set them up a bit more. I think next year Leeds might be a bit more cautious, but still attacking. I think he's seen the big games. If you look at that home game against Liverpool, the home game against United.
I would love to see when the last time they were bit, Gary. I would love to check out because I can't remember the last time Leeds were bit.
Finished strong, and they did be able to. They're able to adapt now. You've seen against United and Liverpool, they were able to play different ways, and that could make them a strong contender for European football next season. And just the way they come up from the Championship, I think they've been excellent. And Bielsa, definitely for me, manager of the season. But next week we'll do whoever is on. I must have a look, but we'll do that team of the season. And obviously manager of the season and stuff before we break for the summer. Only a couple more podcasts left, Zach. Probably do one, obviously coming up the weekend. Obviously reflecting on the night's game and looking ahead to that Man City Chelsea game, and then probably one more after that when that Champions League finals over. On a bit. Hey, it's been a crazy year.
He's done well. He's kept going. Definitely brilliant. It's good to come on, chat about football. I don't really like my one that I've got sort of torn apart there.
You expect that. Maybe you have the grass is long, Zach. If United would have won the night, you can be getting back replying. I'm sure your phone will be on, and you'll not get too many replies back, maybe. But
you'll not be able to look at me and like, I have a bit honest, like, God, hell, we'll be
obviously you're probably going to look at it with your United hat on, and maybe the night if they won it would be your favourite moment of the season. But my favourite moment of the season so far, any particular game you remember that you really enjoyed watching?
I mean, the one I most celebrated was Southampton away, 3-2, 2-0 down at half time. Cavani came on, changed the game, scored in the 94th minute, and nearly broke my laptop. Fruit in the air.
Been some fantastic moments of the season in the league. You look at that Lanzini goal against Spurs to come back from 3-0 down. The Alisson header a couple of weeks ago, fantastic. There's been some mad moments on there. Leeds involved in some high scoring games. Obviously Mourinho being sacked. There's been loads of Super League. It's been a crazy season. But But favorite moment of the season for me, honestly, I was at I would say it was at
6-1.
What's that?
6-1
there, but obviously because of the way United played 10 men, I just really enjoyed the North London Derby, that 2-0 win with the fans back in there and stuff for Spurs back in December.
Yeah.
Sort of the moment where we all thought something was possible.
Spurs were going to do that. Man,
It was quickly derailed after. But no, for me that will be up there. And I also think just watching Leeds, a lot of games I really enjoyed watching them. Brilliant. And obviously as well, the Liverpool header last week, Alisson, probably one of them moments where he'll look back on it himself. He's everything that's happened in this season is, fantastic. But Zach, thanks for coming on. Enjoy the night's game. I will be watching it. I've trained, but I will be watching it after. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good game.
Happy days, guy. Pleasure as always.
Top man. Thank you. Everyone's watching as well. Thanks for your comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll catch you at the weekend as we build up to that Champions League final. Cheers, man, Zach. I'll see you again. Thank you.
Yeah, after. Good luck.